Hey guys, it's Carrie and Zach here from the Coffee and KO's crew. And Zach, I got a question for you. You ever wake up on a Sunday morning and think, man, I'll cook the family some breakfast this morning?
Yeah, time or two.
Have you ever noticed how you throw the sausage links up on the griddle to one side, you throw the eggs up on the griddle to the other side? You never cook them touching.
No, you don't ever want them to touch. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it got me to thinking, why do we do that with our underwear?
I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Yeah, I think it is too. But let me tell you, fellas, Sheath has solved that problem. They have come out with men's underwear with not one, but two pockets to keep your eggs and sausage separated.
Thank goodness. This has been a problem for way too long. I can't believe it took, I'm 26 years old, 26 years at least, to come up with something so intelligent. The material is great. Everything about Sheath underwear is amazing. And what's even better, we have a promo code. Promo code Coffee and KOs. If you use the promo code Coffee, the letter N, KOs, at checkout, you get 20% off your entire order. It's a hell of a deal. And let me tell you, the underwear are well worth it. So make sure you go to sheathunderwear.com. Promo code Coffee and KOs. Make sure you separate the sausage and the eggs. And make sure you sheath your dagger. Sheathunderwear.com. Coffee and KOs promo. 20% off. Go get yourself the most comfortable underwear in the world. And don't forget to sheath your dagger. Ladies and gents, we got the full freaking squad here for UFC Vegas 22, man. We got Kieran, we got Steve, we got Josh, we got Lewis, and we got Carrie. We got the whole damn squad here. Fellas, how's it doing?
Good,
amazing.
I mean, Josh just scared the shit out of me.
I know. He came out of nowhere.
I'm here,
Oh,
dude.
man. So anyway, we have Lewis on. Lewis, our friend from across the pond. We got to ask, how are you feeling after Leon? How are we feeling? What's next for Leon? You know, we know you're a Leon guy. You got us kind of on the Leon train after we talked a lot of shit about Leon. So you know, how are you feeling after Saturday?
Obviously disappointed. It's ridiculously annoying for UK fans as it's been 18 months for Leon. You can see how good he looked coming into it as well, but he said himself in the post fight that he doesn't look at Beneil again. He looks ahead for a title shot. You can't give him a title shot after poking someone in the eye though. So it's annoying, but I think they just have to run it back in a few weeks. They're both healthy other than the eye poke. They didn't really take much damage. He got head kicked, but he looked fine, Beneil, other than the eye. Leon hasn't got a scratch on him. I think he's going to have a fight pretty soon, quick turnaround, and just, you know, promote for that championship fight, because otherwise it's a complete waste of his time again. You're going to not see him for another year.
See, I was on the side of the fence where I think there should be no rematch. I think that it was pretty clear, like the gap in the skill there. So I think Beneil kind of goes his separate ways, and Leon 100% gets a top 5 guy in his next fight, and it should be soon. So maybe Wonder Boy.
Yeah, it could be a top 5 guy. That's fine, as long as it's another fight. I just don't think he should get a title fight after ripping a cornea. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Other than that, yeah, it doesn't have to be Beneil, but I would rather just see him fight Beneil again, just because otherwise Bilal's going to moan and say you never beat me.
I'm of the belief I would like to see him fight. I'd like to see him fight Colby. I mean, I don't think he has. I mean, when you think about it, it doesn't sound right. Oh, he shouldn't get a title shot. He just poked the number 13 guy in the eye. But then you look at the state of the division, and Jorge Masvidal's about to get a title shot. It's like, I mean,
I agree with it.
every other person in the top 5 other than him is 1 or 2 fights removed from losing to Usman. So it's, to me, I'm just like, I think you don't have a bad case, but then again, I think everybody has a bad taste in their mouth from that. So I wouldn't mind if he got a top 5 opponent next. I'm not sure if I'm too keen on the Belal Muhammad rematch, because if that fight gets made and then say Leon goes out there and 50-44s him, it's gonna be like, well, you just set him back for another how many months? I don't know. I think Leon was levels above him. But then again, you never know. It is MMA. You never know what the hell's gonna happen. I mean, Derek Lewis exists, but yeah, I think I would like to see Leon get a top 5 opponent next. I don't think they're gonna give him a title shot just because they want that Masvidal rematch. But outside of that, I'd like to see a top 5 opponent. I like to see a step up in him fighting someone around his level.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of on the. I don't think he should get a title shot right away. I think you take 600 days off. Like, you need a decisive win. Like, you need a win to get you to the belt. But I don't think they should run it back against Belal. Like, I think in the little time that fight lasted, you could see he was light years above Belal Muhammad. And I like Belal Muhammad, but when the only thing that I was impressed by with him was the fact to change positions on the fence, like he had his back against the fence and then move Leon to the fence, like that's not a huge takeaway. Like, I like Belal Muhammad. I think he deserves to be where he's at, and I think that he can fight guys, 8 to 15. I think he'll always be competitive there, but you really look at the guys in the top 5, I don't think Belal Muhammad ever touches any of those guys. Like, I really don't. I think he's a great fighter. He's just not at that championship level. And Leon is at that championship level. I mean, he was going to get a finish in that fight. I mean, if it didn't end due to the eye poke, I mean, we saw he rocked him with a head kick that was nasty. He was much faster. Leon to me is very good. He gets a lot of shit, obviously, because he's not that active, but he 100% deserves. I wouldn't be upset if he got a title shot. And basically going off of what Kieran said, like, Usman's already beat everyone there. Like, Leon literally is next, is the only guy that hasn't fought for the belt. So Masvidal got ragdolled. He's going to get ragdolled again. The only other person I would like to see get a title shot if it wasn't Leon would be Colby again, just because Colby pushed him, pretty well during that fight. So possibly could have been winning the fight had it not been finished. It was a closer fight than people remember. But yeah, so I'm totally on Leon not fighting Belal again. I think that it's happened. It's done. He already would have won the fight. Belal can cry about it, and I like Belal, but I think he got lucky. Let's be honest. He got lucky getting that fight. It wasn't like he deserved to fight number 3 or whatever. Like,
right.
3 versus 13 isn't the thing that usually happens. I do think, it's unfortunate for Belal because although you may have lost the first round, you didn't really get a chance to prove it as much. So I wouldn't venture as far to say that he would have lost, because you never know. But I think chances are he was on the way to losing that fight,
we'll give it 85 to 85-15.
I give him another ranked opponent though. I'd give him someone higher ranked. But
definitely,
you got to remember
Damian Maia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is he still ranked?
Yeah, he's 8.
Oh wow, yeah, give him Damian Maia. Sure, that's fine. That's a great fight. But when you're looking at look at where they were in their careers prior to this matchup being booked. Leon Edwards is on an 8-fight win streak, and then people are just like, well, you can't get a title shot off of beating RDA. Colby Covington got a title shot off of beating RDA. Now, it was him and Damian Maia who had already been beaten. I hate the blueprint shit, like, oh, he wrote the blueprint on beat. But I think everybody was just like, if you have some sort of wrestling background, you're going to be able to defeat Damian Maia, especially at this stage of his career. But Belal Muhammad, on the other end of the spectrum, was coming off of a win against Diego Lima, who's been very up and down.
Garbage.
Compared to his brother, garbage. It's not. It wasn't that in that's a good win. He looked impressive doing it, but
he didn't finish him though. That's the other thing.
You're gonna jump from fighting Diego Lima all the way up to Leon Edwards, and now people are questioning, oh, can you actually beat him, Leon? Like, yes, he's on an 8-fight winning streak and has 3, 4, 5 names that are better than I think Belal Muhammad is right now. Or definitely than Diego Lima. I think most of the people on his win streak
and beat all the people at their own game as well.
Exactly.
RDA out grappled Gunnar Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
No one does this stuff. So.
Exactly.
If anything, Belal needs just another main event. He deserves, if anything, give him another main event so he can, not be as sad.
Exactly. I give him one of those shitty fight nights on ESPN Plus that no one's gonna want to watch, but it ends up being a banger. Kind of like last week. It's essentially
we'll make T-shirts that say "Let's make Beneil less sad." Give him a
Yeah.
we'll promote it as get him a fight night main event.
I feel bad for him. Any grown man in the cage crying. It's tough. It's a tough for him. And I hope he gets another big shot to prove himself, because once again, we don't know what that fight would have happened. This is MMA. There's 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think he already fought Jeff Neal. He already fought Luque. Those are both guys ranked ahead of him. So for me, it's like he's sitting at 13. Like, why not? Maybe the Leech. The Leech is a good fight that he could fight. That's number 12 right in front of him. Why not do that?
Yeah. My thing is just holding Leon Edwards back from fighting a possible top 5 opponent when none of these guys have fought each other. The only one in that elite realm was Wonder Boy fighting Masvidal 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys have to fight each other at some point, and I think
Colby's being a bitch. Colby's straight up being a bitch. Like, how many times is like the Leon name thrown out there, and Colby's like, I don't do charity or whatever, and it's like, dude, just fight him, and then the winner of that gets the next title shot. Like, he's just holding out, and it's just holding up the division.
Yeah, it can be frustrating at times, but
don't call Colby a bitch, Steve.
he will call you a virgin. He will call you a virgin with 4 women that he paid to be half naked next to him.
And he's gonna hand hover him too.
He'll spoil the next Star Wars film for you, or whatever the fuck else he does.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that Beneil deserves a guy. I think I wouldn't even mind if he fought like 8, 9, 10. Like I would like that. But yeah, as far as Leon, I think we can all agree that I mean Norton wants him to run it back. I don't. I think that
run it back or get it, or just not necessarily with Beneil, but just have another fight.
Maybe fight.
Stephen Thompson, because Colby's denying it, so Thompson makes sense. He hasn't got an opponent.
Yeah. And like you said, Lewis, if they run it back in 3-4 weeks, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah,
my problem is waiting 4 months to run it back with Belal Muhammad. Like, what does that do for the division? Yeah. You have to get some contenders in there eventually. Otherwise, Kamaru Usman's only going to be fighting dudes that he already beat up 2, 3, 4 fights ago. Yes, he already beat Leon Edwards, but look at how much improvement he's had since that fight. Yeah. They were right into the Reebok deal, and that's about to end. Like, it was like the first
7 years ago, right? Yeah,
it was like 7 years ago. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But that division's got to get cooking sometime.
Yeah, that is the slowest division in all UFC. It's so freaking annoying.
It's them or it's featherweight.
Yeah.
It's them or it's featherweight.
And I did want to get Lewis's take on this one more time. Or this is the last thing. Darren Stewart wore the illegal knee. Were you happy because he didn't get an L? He didn't get an L. He got a no contest.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Darren looked good. I was saying it to Steve and Kieran earlier. He looked good in the first couple minutes. He was piecing Eric up with that jab. His footwork looked great. He looked physically the best he's ever looked. But so did Anders. Anders was massive in that cage.
He looked like he had a good camp.
And he got one clean left on Darren, and Darren was just not there. He was non-existent. He lost, he became a white belt essentially. When you get, you go from black belt to white belt when you get hit hard. That kind of aspect happened to him, and yes, it saved him. I hate the rule though. I think you should be able to knee a downed opponent. You get a shin to the face, but you can't knee him. It makes no sense. So, but yeah, I'm happy Darren didn't lose, but not really at the same time. Darren lost. That's the way I'm sure he looks at it. He got his ass kicked a little.
I mean, Herb Dean definitely thought that he won because he still raised his hand.
Yeah.
Herb Dean was like, he was like, Eric, I know this is no contest, but you're a winner in my book. I'm gonna semi-raise your hand here.
Oh shit! What did I do?
Yeah. Oh goodness,
more impressive with Davey Grant on this card with the English.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Davey Grant. Yeah,
hey, don't forget the Geordie, the posture, the nice happy Geordie.
I love his interviews too. He's just so happy.
Yeah, he's such a lovely man, isn't he? He's so lovely.
And he caught a performance of the night bonus too.
Damn
good
right.
For him.
Spinning wheel kicks from the grappler.
Yeah, he was doing some crazy stuff in there.
Yeah, knocked out Martinez. That's beautiful. See him coming up.
It was a nice knockout. All right, Steve. So let's get into the segments for this show.
Yeah, we'll start with we'll do rate that matchup. So if you guys don't know, basically I'll give you a matchup that's just been recently announced. We'll rate it 1 to 5, just kind of talk about it a little bit. We actually had a nice one come out today. If you guys saw that one, in the works, not officially booked. We'll start with that one, but you have number 4, Michael Chandler, taking on number 2, Justin Gaethje. this is a phenomenal fight. It definitely leaves a lot of question marks for me in the lightweight division, but I do love the fight. I would definitely have to give that one a 5.
5. That fight's a 5. Anytime Justin Gaethje's on there, I love Justin Gaethje. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. 5 just for that. I will say, though, I'm a little worried. I think Michael Chandler, listen, I talked so much shit about Michael Chandler. Like he was probably the one fighter that I talked the most shit about. I thought for sure Dan Hooker was going to destroy him. And I'm a Michael Chandler kind of fan now. Like, you know, if I talk shit about you and you totally change my view on your style and everything, like that's huge. And so it worries me a little bit because Gaethje could wrestle the shit out of Gaethje, and he's got the power now. Like Michael Chandler,
Gaethje's wrestling.
No, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. We're off that now. That's not a thing.
It's Khabib. It's Khabib.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting fucked up by Khabib. Khabib could go up against the Olympic gold medalist right now. Like he could go up against what's his name, Jordan Burroughs, and I'd take him in a grappling match 9 times out of 10. Khabib is he's an anomaly. This is definitely a 5 for me. I mean, Justin Gaethje is violence incarnate. I mean, dude is crazy. And like you said, like I was shit talking Michael Chandler a lot too.
I think
I was just like, this short steroid fuck coming over from Bellator is not gonna be able to pass a drug test for USADA or do any of this shit, you know. And then he goes out there and sparks one of my favorite fighters. I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to be a little bit of a fan now. I got to eat my words. Super excited for this. Justin Gaethje's pure violence. Michael Chandler's going to bring the action. I mean, for the lightweight division, I really don't care what happens. I just want to see them all fight each other, you know?
Yeah, they should just do like literally one card, all lightweights. That would be it'd be a phenomenal card. Seriously, it would. Yeah, there's no bad fight there.
None. Everything's fun until Khabib gets involved. As great as Khabib is, but he's just that much better, I think, than everyone. That is just like, I mean, I don't know why Dana wants him to stay. You have a lightweight tournament right now that would be blockbuster if you just allow him to go, you know? But we'll see.
Does it end in a backflip, this fight? Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler.
Yeah, I think
end in a backflip though.
I think the betting line would be that's a minus 1,000. Someone's backflipping off the cage.
100%. Someone's going to sleep. I don't know who, but someone's going to sleep. Well, let me not say that because every time we say that shit, some surreal god or Derek Lewis,
I'm excited to see Gaethje come back after that Khabib performance because it was just so short. We didn't get to see this long camp. And Kieran, you were really high on Trevor Whitman in the recap show, and that's kind of his main pupil. You know, one of the guy he works with the most, and coming back against your dominant wrestler, Michael Chandler, who can really – and then he showed his knockout power too. Maybe the best UFC debut of all time. And he's coming against Mr. Violence, Mr. Knees, Mr. Mean. I'm terrified at watching the fireworks. That's what's going to happen when they meet in the middle because this is one of my favorite matchups you could make at lightweight. Gaethje, Chandler, and then – you know, you really can't do anything wrong at the top. But if this was one of the matchups I had the choice of, I would have made this one. This is the one I would have made.
And I think it paves the way for Conor Dustin's obviously going to happen now.
Oh,
but then that leaves out Oliveira. Oliveira's the odd man out in that situation, which
we all knew that was going to happen.
Well, I think whenever he turned, well, this is the thing. Whenever he turned down that fight against Michael Chandler, granted it was on short notice. I think Dana just. Like Dana's Dana, you know, Dana got tomato red whenever he denied that fight. And it's just like, you know what, screw it. But I don't know. I mean, well, also I hate this, but who's been high on Charles Oliveira? Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz has been high on Charles Oliveira as well. Like he said him or Dustin Poirier are the people that he wants to fight.
But that's a waste of a fight.
I think it is too. But at the same time, if Charles Oliveira wants to stay active, I think that might be the fight to make. Or
but he'd have to go to 170 because Nate said he's not fighting 155, right?
Or hey, maybe Dana actually did convince Khabib to come back, and you might see a Charles Oliveira versus Khabib, which will just be another Khabib victim.
Which is the only guy that he hasn't. That's the only guy he hasn't.
He hasn't beat. I mean, and then I think you can get Khabib out of bed if Michael Chandler wins his fight, and then Charles Oliveira is in line, but. because those are the only two people that he hasn't choked unconscious in that fucking division, you know. But Jesus, Khabib just ruins everything, man. And I love dude, but like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. So I think that's a unanimous
we didn't
five.
get Norton. Norton, what did you? What was your
I
choice?
know.
Oh, okay.
Backflip 5. Yeah.
It's almost like not even worth asking. It's a 5 at that point.
What hasn't been said?
I like cool story, bro, in the comments using Brendan Schaub slur. 170 is block buzzer.
All right, so the next one that we had here, this was announced a little bit earlier, I think last week, but number 5, Tony Ferguson taking on number 9, Beneil Dariush. We are definitely a pro Beneil Dariush podcast here, and he's just been kind of flying through the ranks right now. And Tony Ferguson, after getting destroyed by someone like Charles Oliveira, and we just saw how good Dariush is on the ground, I think Ferguson's in some real trouble, and I think this is definitely a 5 for me.
5, another 5, and this is a perfect matchup for Beneil Dariush. First off, Beneil Dariush is going to be on this podcast one day. It's going to happen. We just got to keep praising him. He's going to come on the show. But anyway, this is a 5, and this is a perfect matchup for Beneil Dariush. I mean, this is like when you're trying to enter top 5 status, like this is kind of the fight you're looking for. You know, you don't want someone who's kind of hot and you know, really, really on fire. You kind of want someone that's still very, very good, but kind of maybe on their way out. Definitely on their way out. Tony Ferguson is 100% on his way out. So I think this is perfect for Beneil, and I think he matches up really, really well with Tony Ferguson. I think, you know, you look at all areas, and you know, everyone thought Tony Ferguson was gonna, you know, really do well against Oliveira, and he did awful. Like he just looked really bad in all areas. He was awful at striking against Gaethje, terrible at wrestling with Oliveira. I'm totally in on Beneil Dariush on this one. I think he wins the fight, enters top 5, and Dariush to the moon.
Dariush to the moon. I love
Dariush to the moon. For me, I'm gonna say it's a 5 as well. I think it's perfect matchmaking. Tony's coming off of 2 really, I mean, embarrassing losses. I mean, he went around in the past 2 fights. I mean, it was at 8 straight rounds that he's lost now. I mean, outside of that uppercut that he landed, he hasn't looked good in any moment of the fights that he's been in. I think it's a good matchup. I know a lot of people were high on Islam Makhachev versus him, but I think that's just not a good. I mean, I think that's a good matchup for Islam.
That's what I wanted.
I think Tony needs something that he can handle, something a little more manageable. And I think Beneil Dariush is that, because you still have the questions. Oh, is Beneil Dariush going to be this next contender? Or is he going to still stay in the realm of or is he going to stay in the realm of where he has been, which is sort of like a gatekeeper for the elite. So I like this matchup. I think it's a great matchup for Tony Ferguson and Beneil Dariush. Fireworks, lightweight, you can't go wrong.
The only reason I don't want Makhachev is I want Makhachev RDA. I really want that fight.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah,
more than I want Tony.
It has to happen now, doesn't it? I wanted him to fight Tony because I love Makhachev. And then it'll boost him into the top 5, and then he's one fight off a title shot, and now he's the new Khabib, essentially. Khabib's not left the lightweight division.
What's sad is, though, I feel like if I'm judging, I think, especially off of what his last performance looked like, RDA, I would take more stock in him manhandling RDA than I would Tony Ferguson, in my opinion, just based on like styles. I think that RDA right now he looked really good against Paul Felder. I know Felder took it on short notice, but I mean, he was pretty dominant in that fight as far as wrestling. The only problem was the striking. Paul definitely had the advantage the whole fight there. But I don't know. I really like that fight, and it was already booked to happen and got boned. So I think that would be a great fight.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
Steve,
who knows?
you're not out on Woodley. I'm not out on Ferguson yet. You know, he's still.
Oh man,
he's still got some warm in my heart. Tony Ferguson does.
El Kukui.
It's kind of like you with Woodley. That's how
You're
I.
in on Woodley?
I'll be honest.
I'm not in. I am not out. Does that make sense?
You should be out. You should be out.
You should be long gone on.
You should be waving at Woodley from the car window.
You should be far out,
dude. Jashkolik, obviously his last opponents are ridiculous. Give me the Luque fight, and we'll see what happens.
This is my problem. You haven't won a round. Like you haven't. Like,
I know.
You questionably haven't won a minute of these fights against these people. When it comes to Ferguson, I'll be honest. I was never in on Tony Ferguson. I understood the hype. I understand he had a long win streak. But in a lot of these fights, it was like he was getting fucked up, but in spectacular fashion. You know, like I don't know. It's sort of like I always thought of him as a more technical Nate Diaz. Like he's going to give you issues on the feet. He can provide some more problems. But I thought of him as more of a new age Nate Diaz. You know, he's tough, incredible jiu-jitsu, extremely taxing cardio. But I just didn't think against the very top tier, which is like the Khabib, the Poirier, even the Gaethje, that was gonna pan out for him. Especially Poirier especially Gaethje whenever he started tuning up people with Trevor Whitman. So I don't know, but we'll see.
All right, that's another unanimous 5 there. And then there was I'm just going to do a little honorable mention. We don't have to go around on that one, but Merab Dvalishvili's taking on Cody Stamann May 1. That's an awesome fight. 2 wrestlers going at it. I think Merab's going to take that one. But I wanted to do like a little Monday matchmaking. We already kind of talked about Leon and Belal, but if I just give you a name from Saturday's card, just give me another name that you want to see them fight next. We'll start with Dan Ige coming off the Gavin Tucker win. He's number 9 ranked right now. It might move up a little bit there. I like to see him fight Josh Emmett, who's number 7. I know he tore his ACL. That was June 2020, but he's probably going to make a comeback this year. And Dan Ige said he wants to take a little bit of time off. So that's a fight that I would like to see.
Yeah. Oh, damn, Steve. That's a freaking good pick. I might have to hop on that. I'm a big Josh Emmett guy. I love Josh Emmett. I think that's a great fight. I'm gonna go Josh Emmett too. I can't choose anyone different. I think that would be perfect, especially where the rankings fall. I think that'd be a great fight, and that'd be a great fight for Josh Emmett to come back off those injuries. If he wins, he obviously keeps moving where he's going. You know, I think that's a perfect fight.
Is this
Steve.
fantasy or anything? Or is it anything at all?
I'd say more of like a realistic, like who you think they should fight next, but take it wherever you want.
I was thinking if Arnold Allen gets through his next one as a Brit, I'd like to see Arnold Allen, as he's not lost yet, come against someone like that, get a Dan Ige, get a proper top 10.
Wouldn't you think that's a disrespect to Dan Ige, though?
That's disrespect to Arnold Allen, sir.
Okay, we got to take a time out right here. How in the world has Arnold Allen been undefeated in the UFC for 5+ years and is still not cracked the top 10 of the UFC featherweight rankings? I have never seen someone be this inactive. He fights once a year. Every time they go to England, he's on that card. But it's just, and I think he's incredibly talented, but I don't know how good he is because he's been there for so long.
Yeah.
And he hasn't fought like anyone high ranking yet. And I think he's more than due for one. You know? Yeah,
but I think the best name on his record is Melendez, which was a couple fights ago where he pieced him up for 3 rounds. But yeah, as you said, exactly. Then Nick Lentz, exactly. But that's why I want to see him get into this, because he needs a top 10 person. He needs someone like an Emmett. I think he was scheduled to fight Emmett and Stevens, and they both pulled out. So he was going to get them fights that you want to see, but not his fault. He's always healthy. So
he called out Zombie.
There you go. That's too high, maybe, but. Maybe hasn't warranted that kind of height yet, but Zombie's coming off losses, so might make sense.
You said Merab Dvalishvili. By the way, did you see him jump into a frozen lake and land on
first? Yeah.
What an idiot!
We're going Cody after that video. We're going Cody Stamann around the board.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at a guy like Yair Rodriguez. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen him fight in so long that I just really want to see him fight. Dan Ige.
He can't even show up for a piss test. How's he going to show up for a fight?
I mean, maybe he won't run away from this one. Maybe he thinks 50K Ige is easier to head kick.
The boy is scared.
I know, but I miss him. I miss Yair.
I miss Yair as well. I was gonna say what Dan Ige said, which is Korean Zombie. I think that's a great fight for both of them at the time. Korean Zombie's coming off of a loss to Brian Ortega, which honestly I expected him to take, and Brian Ortega looked insane. So I would have to say Korean Zombie is the guy that I would want.
See, I like Korean Zombie as a pick, but I think Calvin Kattar matches up better with him based on kind of like both their last performances.
Well, the only problem is they just fought 2-3 fights ago. They had a main event. Kattar and Ige did.
Oh no! Sorry, I'm saying Korean Zombie.
For Korean Zombie,
Korean
that would be a good
Kattar.
matchup as well. Yeah. You can't go wrong with these top 10s in 135, 145, 155. You can't go wrong with the top 10 matchups.
All right, I'll go one more name here. Ryan Spann. definitely deserves some respect. I think his call out made probably the most sense. The winner of Jim Crute versus Anthony Smith. I think he gets that guy, and then we're gonna see a legit contender out of that.
Give me Ryan Spann versus. I'm gonna put two names out there: Ankalaev, Magomed Ankalaev, or this is the one I like better: Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir is at 8 right now. I don't really like old Oezdemir at 8. I think Ryan Spann is better than Volkan Oezdemir. I do. I think Ryan Spann is better than him. Listen, I talked a lot of shit on Ryan Spann based on what he did against Johnny Walker when he just sat there and wore elbows. But Ryan Spann's wrestling, underrated. His ground game is underrated, and he can strike. Oezdemir has 0 chin. He's been knocked out quite a bit lately. I think Ryan Spann beats Volkan Oezdemir. Those are the two names I'm going out there. I would say probably Oezdemir more than Ankalaev. I don't know how Ryan Spann. I'm high on Jimmy Crute, so like Jimmy Crute to me is gonna be like top 5 guy soon, in my opinion. I love Jimmy Crute, so I don't know if Ryan Spann is there yet.
To me, it could be fucking anyone. I don't think 205 is a very deep division. I think there's a bunch of you may win, you may lose. I think that's just what the top 10 at light heavyweight is right now. I like Volkan Oezdemir. I think Anthony Smith versus I think the winner of the Smith versus Jim Crute fight. I think that's a good matchup for him. To be honest, I wouldn't be dying to see it. You know, I think it'd be interesting, but I wouldn't be dying to see it. I like the Volkan Oezdemir fight though. I think that's a good step up for him. Ankalaev, I think, deserves someone top 3 just to see. I think Ankalaev versus Rakic makes the most sense next.
And where's Jiri Prochazka? Like, I want to see this man fight.
He's fighting Reyes.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's fighting Dominic Reyes. I think the winner of that gets the next title shot.
But Rakic and Ankalaev, like that winner of that fight could also get the title shot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, jeez.
Rakic
light
just
heavyweight
Santos,
really
who's
does
number
suck.
4. That's crazy.
Glover, a 42-year-old Glover Teixeira who got 50-45 like 2 years, like 8 years ago, by John Jones is the number 1 contender right now. Light heavyweight sucks bad right now. Light heavyweight is down bad right now, but
it is bad.
I don't know, you're getting an influx of young talent. Like I think me and my friends call Yuri Prochazka like Yuri Ferguson because he just headbutts punches and does wild shit like that. So I think he's very exciting. Ankalaev I think has a lot of potential, but he sleepwalks into fights sometimes. But I don't know. For Ryan Spann, I like a top 10 opponent. Like you said, Zach, Oezdemir, I think that's the way to go.
Anyone else?
No, I like what he said.
Oezdemir all day.
All right.
No time.
Well, that's what I got. That's what I got for the Monday matchmaking. For the Rate That matchup, we kind of went over the headlines. I feel like we just wanted to talk some Leon, a little bit of Darren Stewart. Anything else you guys have?
Oh, I want to hear Norton's take on Petr Yan. Since you said
I'm massive on Petr Yan. Yeah, I love him. He's just the Terminator. No expression. The thing is, we're all. I don't know who you're mad at in this scenario. Aljamain's getting a lot of stick, but all that he did wrong, in my opinion, was publicize the belt afterwards, after throwing it on the ground. And
Agreed.
When in the octagon, everyone was going, "Oh, good, he's not accepting that belt. He's not the true champion." Petr did the wrong. He did an illegal shot. Be mad at him. He ruined the fight effectively. Yeah. But Aljo's now flaunting it almost, and it's just he can do it. He's the champ.
As he should. As he should.
That rematch, though.
And one judge had it favored to him. If that fight went on and it went to the decision, Petr Yan would have got a 2-point deduction for that foul. It wouldn't have been 1, it would have been 2 points. That could have either been a draw or Aljo won legit.
If he just made it to the exactly.
If he just made it to the end.
Scorecard.
Exactly. So I'm not, just run it. I'm not that bothered. It gets the fight back, which Aljamain didn't look that great to me either. He just looked like he was spaced. He looked like he was just overwhelmed by the moment. Yeah, he looked panicked. He just didn't look like himself. He couldn't land a takedown. He showed how much better Petr Yan is, and yeah, I'm happy to see it again, and I think Petr will finish him in the second fight.
You guys see Aljo's Instagram post
on the steps?
Yeah, it's like some people call me actors, other people call me champ. I was like, yes. You sell 1 million. If you piss off everyone,
now he's going to be the bad guy. Yeah,
you will sell pay-per-views, and guess what? You're going to get the pay-per-view points for it. I'm going full heel turn. I want it.
Listen, I say
Young's the hero.
Honestly.
I say it all the time. I hate Greg Hardy. I watch every Greg Hardy fight because I want him to lose. I cannot. I hate him more than any fighter to ever live. I cannot stand Greg Hardy, but I watch every single time because I'm like, this guy better lose.
Was he really famous in America, by the way, before he joined MMA?
Yeah,
he's obviously to us over the
he was a starting defensive end for my favorite football team.
He was an all-pro, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the best defensive ends in the league.
Okay. He's also really good at beating the shit out of women.
Oh yeah,
I was about to
and doing cocaine. I have met him on multiple occasions. He used to come into Top Golf just wearing a wife beater, no pun intended, but
with an egg stain.
No, he really came in wearing a wife beater. That's pretty.
He doesn't look like a friendly chap. Yeah.
No.
Did you size him up?
No, that man is big as fuck.
Did you
what am I going to do? That is an NFL
tribal
defensive end. No, I mean he was just a huge dude. He came in wearing. I mean, if you walk into a public place that's actually pretty nice, wearing a wife beater and sweatpants.
It's pretty classy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you walk in wearing a wife beater and sweatpants with some Instagram model on your arm, obviously I'm not gonna fucking bother you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had the balls enough to walk in here like that, it's a tough scene.
I thought there was a dress code for Top Golf.
No, I don't care. Not really.
Not for him. He's allowed to wear whatever.
You can wear a wife beater. It's fine. I'm gonna stop calling it that. It's just
it's totally
it
fitting
play in 2021, man.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
It's fitting. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So we're moving on to our preview here for Fight Night Brunson Holland. Guys, I'm not gonna lie. Like I feel like I'm still having like a hangover from 259. Like I don't know. I that pay-per-view was just so good. We had so much great talk, so much, and it's just like this card is good though. It is very, very good. The only thing that sucks, like Tai Tuivasa, like I like Tuivasa, but main card against Dontale Mays, Yanez, I do like Adrian Yanez a lot. I think that he's going to be pretty good. But yeah, Max Griffin, I mean, didn't he take the dude's ear off last time he fought?
Yeah.
So I mean, we could possibly see that. Cheyanne Buys had a really good performance on the Contender Series. I think she's going to be pretty good.
Some guy named Grant Dawson's on the card. He's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know.
Which he should have been on the main card. Complete bullshit. He's not. Trevin Giles pretty good. Who else? And then JP Buys.
Card, isn't it?
It is. Which means it's going to be good. Which means it's going to be really good.
When there's not big names, they always want to show that they want to show up, don't they? They want to prove a point. They're taking the moment. It's all about them.
It's anyone's 50K. It's anyone's 50K.
Yeah.
Which we want to see.
You just got to go out there and get it. That's it.
Is there anyone that like you guys not on the main card is like kind of looking forward to watching? I mean, Johnny Eduardo hasn't fought in freaking forever, so he comes back and fights. He's leading off the card.
I think that got called off. I confirmed with MMA Junkie.
Oh, okay.
Or I saw
the man with Muay Thai tattooed on his stomach.
Yeah, reliable.
So Johnny Eduardo is no longer fighting on the card.
Man.
Damn it. Is that the same thing for any Brazilian fighter on this card?
I couldn't confirm it, but I know MMA Junkie tweeted that about the Johnny Eduardo specifically, just for him. And then I think that other thing was full of shit with Santos and Dawson. So I'm going to pretend it's on, and that's what I'm excited about. I want to see that fight over and over again.
Grant's been posting like a lot, like very recently about his fight week, so I think he's still on.
Yeah, so let's go.
Kieran, anyone that you are specifically excited to see on this card outside of the main card?
It's kind of messed up, but I kind of like whenever people are fighting for the jobs. I just feel like it brings a whole different level of. I feel like it brings a whole different level of No, but Marion Renault. I mean, she's 0-3 in her last 3. She's a high school teacher, and she's going.
She's
up
like
against
45.
She's going up against Macy Chiasson, and I mean, I just want to see if she's gonna lose her job or not. I just think. I mean, it's kind of like whenever you're at work and then you're seeing someone get into it with the boss, and they get called in the office. It's like, oh shit, is it just a write up, or are they actually gone? You know, that's how I feel. You'll be able to tell than the performance. It's like actually getting to watch the conversation between the boss and the employee. But
this is gonna be like the Mankind versus The Rock on Monday Night Raw pink slip match. Whoever gets
the you're fired match.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think that'd be great. If you're on a skid, Dana White comes in there and just screams, "You're fired!" after a loss. I mean, that's pay-per-view right there. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say Marion Renault versus Macy Chiasson. Trevin Giles. I think his last fight, he like passed out before he was about to walk to the cage or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see if he comes back of stable mind. If not, I mean, shit, it'd be fun to watch too. But yeah, that's about it for.
I wonder if he'll lose his job. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. You never know. Oh goodness.
Lewis, anyone for us to watch out for?
To be honest, not for me on the prelims. The prelims are kind of what you described them as. They're as is. It's kind of, if it happens on the night for me. I'm not looking. No, Trevin Giles does nothing for me. I look at that, I just keep scrolling, kind of thing. It's the main card for me is just Gregor and Kevin. Looking at Kevin Holland and Gregor Gillespie, see what they can do. They're the two fights for me that I'm just buzzing for, and especially Kevin Holland, as he's got a cheap win on his record against my man Dariush. So.
That was close.
You lay on your back getting your face punched in for the last 5 minutes of a fight, and you claim you won. I hate that.
Close fight.
Hottest fighter out there.
Yes, yeah. Kevin Holland though, he's I can't wait for that fight.
He trains like 30 minutes west of from where I am at. You know, pretty cool.
Nice.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like me previewing these fights, I don't know much about like a lot of them. So Steve, take it away on Cheyanne Buys versus Montserrat Conejo.
Montserrat Conejo, Cheyanne Buys. I feel like I don't really expect any of us to know too much about this one. If this is both their UFC debut. When you look at the ESPN card and there's just nothing on like either fighter. So. I don't know. You got Cheyanne Buys. She is 5-1 pro record. She fought in LFA. She fought in Invicta. 5 of her 6 fights have gone to decision. She seems to be more of a striker. And then Conejo, she is 9-1 in her pro record.
She's intimidating looking.
Yeah, she is. She fought in Invicta too. UFC record. She's finished half her fights, so that's pretty exciting. She trains with 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, which is pretty good. So I don't know. There's really not much going on here. I think you just have Buys, who is more of the striker, Conejo more the ground fighter, the grappler. I usually side with the grappler in this one. So I have Cheyanne Buys winning this one. I got to change it. Sorry, I'm going to go Cheyanne Buys by decision. She does have the reach advantage. She fought Dana White Contender Series. She won that fight, so that seems a little bit better to me.
Just because Steve took Buys, I'll go Conejo, and I'm gonna go by finish. Let's go knockout, baby. I'm going balls to the wall. I'm going knockout. I'm gonna put $5 on it because I'm cheap, but I'm gonna put $5 on it. Conejo's gonna get the finish. I mean, Buys looked great on the Contender Series, but just based on like the low body of work from both of these women, I feel like it's a toss up. So maybe we'll get more answered after they fight. But right now it's a complete toss up. So because we're in a competition, Steve, I will go opposite of you, and I'm gonna go Montserrat Conejo.
Montserrat. Wow.
Is that how you say it? I don't know how else to say it.
Montserrat.
Wow.
Okay.
If anyone, I'd expect Carrie to call her Monster Rat.
Yeah, seriously.
That's what I'm
Be
calling.
non-professional for once, Carrie.
Took my tagline.
All right, who do you guys got?
Yeah, Montserrat decision.
I'm gonna take. Okay, I'm gonna take Cheyanne Buys via decision. Yeah, she trains in Dallas, so that's pretty much.
Stole
only
mine.
thing-
Buys decision as well. Yeah, go Buys decision.
Carrie?
I mean, Montserrat Conejo means cone-shaped serrated mountain, which kind of reminds me of a knife. And a cone-shaped serrated...
What?
You guys all right?
Kind of reminds me of a knife.
You guys all right?
Yeah. Keep
Right.
going.
Well, a cone-shaped serrated knife could do a lot of damage. I just don't think Cheyanne buys her way out of this one. So I'm going Conejo. I'm actually surprised you took buys by finish because you say women don't finish.
I took Conejo by finish.
I'm sorry, Conejo by finish. because you always say women can't finish, and I always just thought that was from your personal experiences. But I'm going Conejo decision.
Jeez, I didn't know that we're just talking shit about one another now. Cool story, bro, says via wall install, which is
I'd have more odds on that than anything else. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh goodness. Okay, the next one, Max Griffin song Kenan, and I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of Max Griffin, super up and down. Like some fights he comes out and looks pretty good, other times he comes out and looks like shit. So I don't really know exactly how to take this one. Just because I kind of like Max Griffin, you know, when he does show up to fight, like he does put on pretty good performances. He knocked a goddamn guy's ear off. That's pretty impressive. So I'm going to go Max Griffin here. I feel like he does at times have cardio issues too. Like there are times where you get to like 1.5 rounds, he kind of really starts to fade.
Like he looks like he's about to die after every 3-round fight. Like
yeah,
Max Griffin and Danny Hot Chocolate. Like those two, I feel like every time I see them in a 3-round fight, it's like, holy, you either got obliterated, you won. Like it's either you won, but you took a shit ton of damage, or you just got the closest a fighter can get to death without doing it. You know,
you brought in the British fighters again.
I mean, I'm being honest. It's tough. I like Danny Hot Chocolate. I was like, man,
yeah, right, you do.
Yeah, but shit, every time I see him, it's pain. It's on his end. I mean, it's tough to watch at times, to be honest.
Yeah, well, Max Payne Griffin. There you go. So I'm going Max Payne Griffin. I'm actually gonna go TKO because I feel like he has to get it done by a finish or he's gonna lose. So I'm gonna go Griffin by KO.
I'm gonna go with. Oh no,
go ahead.
I was saying I'm gonna go with Song Kenan. It's actually a fun fact. 3 of his losses are to pretty decent UFC competition. I know he has 5 losses total. He's only lost 1 in the UFC, which was to Alex Morono. He trains out of the Houston area. He's a pretty solid fighter. His other 2 against UFC competition were Brad Riddell before coming into the UFC, and then he got TKO'd by Israel Adesanya back in 2015. So I mean, those are 2 really good fighters. I'm only basing this prediction off of the fact that he's lost to 2 decent people. So I'm gonna go with Song Kenan. That's it.
How would you like to take Kenan?
I'll take him by second round stoppage.
Okay. Yeah, he also fights out of Jackson Wink MMA, so that's always solid. He's 4-1 in the UFC, Kenan. That's pretty solid. Griffin's 4-6 in the UFC. I feel like he was like one of those guys who was kind of hyped back in the day, came into the UFC, and just has been very up and down since then. But he's also shared the octagon with some solid people. He lost to Colby Covington. He beat Mike Perry. He lost to Alex Oliveira. So he's definitely probably wins in the experience department, in my opinion. But he also is going to hold a 5-inch reach advantage here. I like his body of work there. Don't really know too much about Kenan, so I think I'm going to ride with Griffin on this one, and I'll go Griffin decision.
Nice. I personally I like him. I like Song in this because he beat Callum Potter in the first round knockout in the last fight, and I really like Callum Potter. And the fact that you said that he dies after 3 rounds, Max Griffin, you can see a second, third round kind of against the wall, little trip. And then it's a TK. It's just going to be hammer fists, man. It's going to be something nice and simple. 3rd round stoppage, TKO for Song in this. He won't go the distance.
I like it.
Or it will by heart attack.
Might be. Honestly, I think
Max Griffin cardiac arrest. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think Max Griffin versus Danny Hot Chocolate Williams in the 5th round would look like Dada and Kimbo 2nd round. I'm not going to lie. They take an exuberant amount of damage. That's a word I don't use often.
Max Payne beat the shit out of my boy Mike Perry, and then he looked good in his last fight. So I think that he's going to win this fight tonight or Saturday night against Song Kenan. I think he's the favorite too, which just kind of scares me because he usually does better when he's an underdog. But regardless, Max Payne Griffin, all of his fights are entertaining. He can, maybe win in the 3rd round after being down. He could be winning the whole fight and then just get caught but he has a pretty good chin too. So it's always entertaining watching Max Griffin fight. I think he does win though.
Yeah, something worth noting, Griffin, 7 of last 8 fights have gone to decision. Also has 14 takedowns in his last 4 fights. So he can get it done multiple different ways.
Yeah, I'll go finish. I'll go finish by that.
You want the finish?
With the finish in the 3rd round. Yeah.
Finish him.
We're talking specific. Yeah.
I don't know. Max Griffin just sounds so generic to me. So I'm gonna go with Yadong's little brother Kenan. We're gonna go a Song Kenan, little brother Yadong, gonna knock out the generic one.
All right, the generic one, Max Payne Griffin. The next fight, I really like this fight. I really like Adrian Yanez a lot. He's 1-0 in the UFC. He won on his Contender Series fight. He's looked really, really good. I really like his fight style. I like everything he's done. I mean, Gustavo Lopez is pretty good too. I mean, so Yanez 12-3, Lopez 12-5. Yanez comes in at the -200 favorite. I just clicked something, so there's going to be a video that runs, and you're going to all hear it because I suck at working a computer. There it is. You hear that? Beautiful
And
elevator
it's on
music.
an ad that you can't skip till now.
There you go. Did you guys hear that or no?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear it? Oh,
No.
perfect. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going Adrian Yanez here. I'm gonna go decision on this one. I think both guys. I think it's gonna be a good fight, entertaining throughout.
I'll take the next one. We got Yanez Lopez. So Yanez, 5-fight win streak. He's 1-0 in the UFC. Also won on the Dana White Contender Series. He's finished 9 of 12 wins, 2 of those by submission. He was a big LFA guy back in the day. Also fought in Bellator. Lopez, he was a champ in another promotion, and he kind of came in and he fought Merab in his UFC debut. Obviously, he lost that fight. Merab had 13 takedowns, just classic Merab. So that's a tough one. Then he had a good bounce back win after that with a round 1 submission. He's also a finisher, so he's finished 11 of 12 pro wins, 5 by knockout, 6 by submission. But he's also been finished twice in his career too. So I am going to lean towards Yanez in this one. It looks like someone's going to go down. Someone's going to get finished. I'll go Yanez TKO.
Just a fun fact here. Gustavo Lopez has lost to Valishvili, who's obviously good. He's also lost to Castaneda back in the day when they fought at a regional promotion. And he's also, there was one other one I thought. Oh, Andre Ewell. Yeah, he also lost to Andre Ewell. So, I like Yanez in this one.
I'm going to go with Adrian Yanez too. I'll be honest. I don't know either of these fucking dudes, but I'm going to go with Adrian Yanez. No, I watched Yanez on the Contender Series. Gustavo Lopez, haven't seen him fight. But I'll be interested to see what he looks like this weekend. But I'm going to go with Yanez via 2nd round stoppage. I think this one has potential to be exciting. Yanez is a pretty exciting fighter.
In the bantamweights, the little guys, always fireworks.
Straight fire. Go ahead, Josh.
Yanez, I always like the Contender Series guys, but I was watching BKFC one night. I don't know, you guys watch that sometimes, but Yanez tweeted, "This looks like a lot of fun." And so that makes me think that he's looking for violence. He likes the violence, and he's going to provide it come Saturday night. So Adrian Yanez, and I like him as a prospect too. So pretty much regardless, I'm going with Yanez. And I think we'll stick with the finish train. Maybe we'll see a lot of finishes this card. You can't really ever predict how many finishes we'll get, but in this fight, I do like a finish for sure.
Yeah, I think this one will end in finish as well. I like Lopez in this by submission. I think he's on the last fight of his contract, I believe, as well, the 3rd fight. So I think, as Kieran likes, he'll be fighting for his job a little bit. And
I love it.
If he gets stopped quite bad by someone just coming off the Contender Series, they'll obviously want to promote the Contender Series. Hence why Dana gave him the contract in the first place. So this kind of might be a gimme fight for Yanez, which I think he'll slip up in. So I'm going to.
What's even worse about a pink slip match in MMA is like you get your ass beat and then you get fired. It's not like you did something wrong. You literally get your ass kicked And then on top of that, which we've already heard, like people go into deep, dark depressions when they lose. You get fired. That is as bad as it comes. That would be awful. That would just, you're recovering. You're sitting in a dark room because you just got the shit beat out of you. And by the way, this is it. We're not re-signing you. Yeah, you're gone. Damn,
that's why I love this sport so much. Just the pain.
True.
Yeah. Carrie?
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the show Breaking Bad, but if you have watched it, then you know you don't mess with a guy named Gustavo. Adrian, unfortunately, his last name is not White, so you don't mess with Gustavo. So I'm going Lopez, and I'll go KO.
Great. Breaking Bad's so great. Or you can call me Ghost. Yeah.
All right, Steve, you could take us to Tuivasa and Dontale Mayes.
Oh man, Tuivasa, Dontale Mayes. To me, these are kind of just two disappointing heavyweights that we've seen come in. I'm sorry to say that. Dontale Mayes 1 and 2 in the UFC. I haven't seen really anything from him that I've liked. Granted, he did fight Cyril Gane pretty early on and got subbed. Tuivasa, I feel like kind of had a lot of hype attached to his name. He's 4 and 3 in the UFC. He kind of had a tough road as well. Like he was on a 3-fight losing streak at one point.
His 3 losses though are tough.
Lagoy and JDS, like those are tough. I get that. He does have a knockout over Stefan Struve, unanimous decision win over Arlovsky. So I think to me, he's definitely the better fighter in this one. Again, Dontale Mayes is just a guy who I haven't really seen too much about. Like that kind of got me excited about his game. He does have the 6-inch reach advantage. He's also 6'6". He's pretty damn huge. Also with Jackson Wink MMA, these guys will both definitely be trading heavy. Someone is going to go down. I got Tuivasa taking this one, TKO.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Mayes lost to Cyril Gane and Rodrigo Nascimento. So, I mean, a loss to Gane, he lost via heel hook.
Cyril Gane is just next level.
Yeah. But I've loved Tai Tuivasa. I don't know. I think it's more his personality. The shoeys after wins are just amazing. And he got John Anik to do a shoey, which is even better. I love Tai Tuivasa. He was cut from the UFC, then brought back. Like in between his loss to Spivak and his win against Struve, he was cut and brought back. Struve, the win over Struve doesn't do that much for me because Stefan Struve towards the end of his career just got knocked out by everybody. But Mayes is a big, strong dude. I could kind of see it going either way, especially at the heavyweight division. Like you get clipped and the fight's over. I mean, it literally could go either way. If we're going, from based on body of work, I guess I'll go Tai Tuivasa. I like Tuivasa. I'm going to pick him more because I like his personality more than anything else, but I really think it could be a toss up. You got what is it here? Tuivasa is a pretty heavy favorite in this one, so -230. So I mean, like you said, that both guys have kind of had a rough road in the UFC. I look at the 3 losses from Tuivasa, all pretty good fighters. So I mean, I'll take the 3 losses kind of as good stock for Tuivasa. The body of work is better than Dontale Mayes.
You want that finish?
Yeah, I'll go Tuivasa finish. I don't think this fight goes the distance. Either way, I don't think whether it's Mayes or Tuivasa, I don't see either. I don't see this fight going to the cards at all. Who's next?
All right, I can take it. Yeah, Tai Tuivasa, I think he has talent. I just think it comes down to how serious he's taking his training. I think whenever he was at AKA, I think he was taking it seriously. He was in the same camp as DC when he was training for his Stipe fight, and I think DC got on his ass a little bit about these things, but now it seems like he's left that camp and he's gone and taken his training to some other camp. Dontale Mayes, as memeable as he might be, he does move well for a 6'6" heavyweight, but I just don't see any of the elite traits there. I take Tai Tuivasa in this fight. I think he's going to do pretty well.
Finish?
I think this fight's going to be sloppy. I like just really sloppy, to be honest. I can see either of them getting finished, but I'll say Tai Tuivasa via first round finish. Screw it. I want it to end quickly.
I feel
tell you, if this goes 3 rounds, it's gonna look really bad.
Yeah,
It's
most
gonna
heavyweight fights, you want the 1 round. That's it. You don't want that
Exactly.
shit going to the 3rd round. Then it gets ugly.
Well, let's be with Ty. Most of the fights that look sloppy for him is when there's ground game or any form of grappling or clinching at all. He has zero knowledge of grappling. But it looks like Dontale does as well. So if they just stand and bang, it could be fight of the night kind of thing. It could be much like Ty's kind of UFC debuts. It could be like an Andrei Arlovski, a little bit wear and tear, and then he just smashes him down. Ty by knockout, got to be.
Yeah. Like if you go back and watch that Dontale Mays fight against Cyril Gane, he's the only guy that like moves his feet almost as well as Cyril Gane can, especially at that giant size. None of the skills to match
what you said about the elite part. He's got all the base knowledge. It's just that elite step to get into the UFC. He's almost been not gifted, but it's one off.
It's not there. I think
it's not there.
I think in heavyweights you don't get to that level of skill. Sorry, heavyweights you don't get to that level of skill until later on in your career. Look, most elite heavyweights are 35 to 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? When it comes with Dontale Mays, I think he has intangibles if he works on them to get to an elite level, but it's Dontale Mays,
this card, as we're talking about this card, I am getting more and more less interested.
Yes.
It's not good, brother. I think these last two you'll
the last two.
Like I love the UFC, but like I'll be honest, like I am not an MMA junkie. Like I follow UFC and that's it. So when you start getting these new guys, like I don't know a ton about them. That's bad probably for me to admit.
That's the best cards though. That's the best cards.
No.
It's cards like this.
Yes. There's going to be like 2 or 3 guys.
You see
there's going to be like 2 or 3 guys on this card that when it's over, I'm going to be like, all right, I really like this guy. And then, that's how you become, fans of them and you follow them from here on out. But it's like, this has got a bunch of those guys that we don't know shit about.
I feel like it's got a lot of clear-cut winners, too, on paper. Like, you look through the main card and you're just like, oh, this guy's going to win. And this is one of those picks, I think Bam Bam Tuivasa, he came on fire when he first came into the UFC and then looked underwhelming. But I would like to see him do a shoey instead of whatever Dontale Mays' post-fight thing is.
Probably flex.
It's throw spinning back fist just all around. That's it. You go back and watch that Cyril Gane fight. That's all he did was just spam spinning back fist the entire time.
Tasmanian devil and stuff.
Yeah. Crash Bandicoot. That's what he's gonna do afterwards.
Give me Ty by knockout.
So we got Tuivasa all the way around. Is Kerry going to complete it?
You'll find out. So the whole time I'm making this pick in my head, and I'm pronouncing Dontale as Dontale. So I'm just gonna run with it. I think Dontale is gonna come into this like a hot tamale, but that hot sauce is gonna turn mild. He's gonna gas out, and I think Tuivasa is gonna bring it to the casa and knock Mize out. So I'm going Tuivasa with a knockout.
Best part about those is I think you're going one way with it, and then all of a sudden it spins to the other way. So you're just very unpredictable, and I love it.
It's like Lee Corso. It's great.
It's going over here, then it ends up over here. How did we get here?
We just need a person that will bet all of Kerry's picks every week and just see how much money
they'd have to be.
How about Kerry does that?
Because they're losing a lot of money.
He said, "How about Kerry does that?"
Yeah, Kerry's not rich.
All right, next one. I really like this fight. So this is the first time we're seeing Gregor Gillespie with a loss next to his name. So he obviously a really bad loss, really bad KO. It's in our intro when he lost to Kevin Lee. So we're seeing him against Brad Riddell, another city kickboxing guy. Listen, I've been high on Gillespie since he's been in the UFC. I mean, like there are not many guys that just dominate the way that he has dominated in the UFC as far as wrestling is concerned. I'm not going to lie. That knockout was a little worrisome. Like that's when you take one like that, that's pretty bad. So obviously Riddell's 9-1, Gillespie's 13-1. Riddell coming off. He's on a tear right now. He's got 6-fight win streak. His last win against Alex Da Silva. And then, the names aren't great. Da Silva's pretty good. Magomed Mustafayev. I'm terrible. Jamie Malaki. And then you got, on the other hand, you got Gregor Gillespie, lost to Kevin Lee, but Yancy Medeiros, Vince Pichel, Jordan Rinaldi, Jason Gonzalez. I mean, his body of work is not great either, but I think it's a little bit better than what Riddell has at this point. Medeiros is a pretty good opponent. Vince Pichel, pretty good. So I'm gonna go Gregor Gillespie on this one. I think it's gonna be a wrestle fest. I don't know if he'll get the finish. Riddell's pretty tough, but Riddell doesn't have the best ground game. Let's go Gillespie by sub. I'm going Gillespie sub on this one.
Yeah, Gillespie sub. That's a good pick. I mean, I think it's pretty clear who's going to win this fight. The only reason I could see Riddell winning this is if Gillespie really was rattled by that head kick and he's very hesitant in the way that he fights. That's the only way I can really see him losing this, because he just wrestle fucks people. 11 of 13 fights finished. He was on a 13-fight win streak. He has all the wrestling credentials in the world, obviously, like NCAA D1 national champ. He was All-American all 4 years. He's blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, he has all the skills that he needs to get this done. And Riddell, like, I'm not 100% sold. I feel like these city kickboxing guys get like a little bit more hyped because Izzy's there and all that. And I just haven't been super impressed with Riddell. I think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's a great fighter. And I think Gillespie is kind of like that next level. So I'm going to go Gillespie, and I actually have him as sub as well.
I'm going to go with Brad Riddell in this fight. So I'm a big shitty kickboxing fan, you know. Izzy, okay, as far as the kickboxing is concerned, your top tier is Izzy. Right underneath that is Brad Riddell. Then you have a big drop-off to Kai Kara France, Dan Hooker. Then you have a big drop-off to Carlos Ulberg. But,
oh, boy.
But no, Brad Riddell is legitimate. Like, that win against Magomed Mustafayev was really impressive. And I think that's when he showcased he could deal with another elite striker at the UFC level. I mean, you guys know Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev got spinning back kick to the head by Magomed Mustafayev. He got knocked out by a spinning back kick against Magomed Mustafayev. And I think if Brad Riddell can deal with Gregor Gillespie's wrestling, which I think he can, because they're around the same size. I think he can. I'll be honest. I think he can. And also, you're talking about someone that's light years beyond any striker that Gregor Gillespie has gone against in his career. I like Yancy. I like Kevin Lee. Nowhere near the strikers that Brad Riddell is. I mean, obviously, you're not getting the best wrestling training in New Zealand, but outside of that, I think that's his only path to victory. Brad Riddell cracks. He hits hard. He's a really solid fighter. And I think if Brad Riddell wins, it sets up a matchup with Fiziev, possibly, that I would love to see as a kickboxing fan. Fiziev, insane, Matrix-type talent. His only loss is to someone that Brad Riddell outstruck. So I would love to see that matchup. I think Brad Riddell's the truth. I think he's got top 10 written all over him. And, yeah, I think Gregor Gillespie has a lot of trouble when he can't get someone to the ground, and someone that moves their feet as well as Brad Riddell does and is also as stocky and strong as he is. Does well.
Riddell 3-0 in the UFC. He's been taken down 14 times. That was the big number for me. He's been taken down pretty much in every fight. So we'll see.
Not only does New Zealand have a lack of wrestlers, they have no wrestling. City kickboxers, all the MMA fighters there don't do. Dan Hooker gets taken down. Kai gets taken down. Izzy just showed he cannot get back up to his feet. They are elite strikers, but they cannot wrestle for shit. And they are much like a lot of the UK guys, unfortunately. America and Russia is where it is at for wrestling, and Gregor's going to fucking maul him. He's going to triangle the shit out of him, man. It's not going to go fast.
You want submission on it?
Oh, man. I don't know what round, but yeah, Gregor by murder.
I actually have you have something else, Lewis?
Sorry, I was just going to say, but I do agree with you, Kieran, that Brad Riddell does a top 10. Just not quite yet.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I'm actually going Riddell too in this fight. I think the main word that comes to mind for me is durability. I think he's super durable in there. He can take a lot of punishment and also, give it out. We've seen him do both ways. Close wins and also dominant wins. But when it comes to Gregor Gillespie, I think he is hesitant. That was not a normal knockout. That was brutal, like fantastically, beautifully brutal. And I mean, it's the intro for your guys' show. It wasn't anything normal. to wrestle, he's got to watch out for these knees and these, he's going to punish him for trying to go to the ground as many times as he wants to, if that's his game plan. If he wants to strike with Riddell, then I think Riddell can, maybe finish him, get the better of him. But I'm going to eke him out by kind of a decision. I think it's going to be a well drawn out fight. He's going to stuff takedowns. He's going to, outstrike him and then come away with the win. So I'm sticking with Riddell on this one.
This all begs the question: just how good is Kevin Lee?
Very, very.
He's just one of those.
Hard.
The roller coaster guys are just so hard to predict because it's just. Kevin Lee has all the tools, but it's just every fight just goes completely different for him. It sucks in ways. I hope he loses every time now because that tattoo he got is freaking terrible. Like he deserves to lose every fight just because of that. But as far as talent wise, like Kevin Lee is probably one of the most talented dudes. It's just he does not put it all together. I feel like it's constantly a roller coaster.
When he started losing, his coach just died, and then when he went to TriStar, beat Gillespie, and then lost to Oliveira. Now there's no shame in losing to Oliveira, but at the time we were like, he should be winning this fight.
Right.
I gotta be honest.
But now looking at it, Oliveira just looks outstanding lately. So
yeah, I gotta be honest. I think TriStar is one of the most overrated gyms in all of MMA. I like
GSP.
GSP. No.
The great mic drop.
No. Look. GSP. Rory McDonald. Who else?
It's not about. It's more about for us.
No, I know, but like
it's the mindset of the fighters.
I guess, but you have like talented fighters, and let's not forget like
because it's in fucking Calgary. No one wants to go there.
GSP was GSP before moving there at Jackson Wink. You know what I'm saying?
Is Whitaker still there too, though?
Whitaker was never there.
I know Nasrat's one of Zahabi's like
Nasrat's there as well,
yeah.
Arnold Allen's there, so don't mock another Brit.
I just think there's more. Like it gets hyped up as like one of the best camps, and I think it's a good camp. I think don't get me wrong. I think it's a good camp. I just don't think it's one of the best camps out there. I think you have AKA, you got ATT. I even say Elevate. Or the whatever gym is in Colorado that Trevor Whitman's at.
Elevate.
Elevation. Yeah. I think they're great.
American Top Team's probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah, American Top Team's definitely the best camp.
They've got everything there. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Glory MMA is pretty.
Yeah.
you got so many. The training lab. You got Duke Rufus. You got Henry Hoofs.
Great coaches, yeah.
I understand what you're saying, though. They may be overhyped.
I just think Joe Rogan talks about Firas Zahabi in such a great light that everyone thinks that they're
you gotta stop listening to the bias, dude.
Yeah, it's
every now and then. I know what you're saying, though. I definitely know what you're saying.
No, I think it's a great camp. Firas Zahabi's insane. His little brother,
but GSP's shadow is lingering still over it, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm just ready for another elite. I'm ready for top 10 fighters to break out.
You're ready for Arnold Allen to come out. And
yeah, exactly. Like Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze, I expected to be at one of the top 170 pounders.
He's mentally not there. Tom.
Yeah, that's
he's really scared of fighting, unfortunately. That is legit the truth. He's petrified of stepping in there. Yeah. So, nah.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunate.
All right, guys, strap in. We're going to go on a bit of a ride here. Brad Riddell, son of Tom Riddell, CEO and founder of the Riddell Gear Company. They provide helmets to the NFL. If we know anything over the last decade about the helmets in the NFL, they don't provide enough protection. And on the other side, we got Gregor Gillespie, shares a name with Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain from Game of Thrones. If you know anything about that show, the Mountain is just massive. He can't be taken down. So I don't think Riddell is going to provide himself enough protection from the takedown. I think Gillespie's going to get a sub, so I'll go Gillespie sub.
Also, fun fact, Carrie.
On the Riddell train.
Josh is on the Riddell train.
I'm on the Riddell train.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Fun fact, Carrie, Gillespie is a world-class fisherman as well.
Is he?
Yes. He fights like once a year, and that's like all he'll fight because he just likes to go fishing, which kills me. I got to change my pick now because he's not all there. He's more of a fisherman than he is of a fighter.
There's nothing I can't stand more than his approach to like trash talk too. He's like, I don't talk trash. This is a respect sport. I'm like, dude, you're paid to punch and kick people in the face, and everyone just cries and complains about respect.
That means if he loses like another 2 fights, Dana White will cut him because Dana White doesn't like anyone who's not
Perfect.
marketable.
Perfect. I love it.
Chop
I don't
him
either. I don't know.
All right, so we got the main event. Derek Brunson, Kevin Holland. Honestly, pretty close to the same record, which is pretty hard to believe because it's Derek Brunson has been around forever, but it speaks to the fact how active Kevin Holland has been. Kevin Holland 21-5, Brunson 21-7. Holland comes in at the minus 175 favorite. And listen, I really like Kevin Holland. I really do. And if the Jacare Souza fight did not happen, I think I'd almost kind of be leaning towards Derek Brunson in this fight. Just based on like if you look at body of work and who Holland had fought prior to fighting Jacare Souza, the competition wasn't that great. Derek Brunson's been in there with everyone. So and based on what Brunson did to Edmund Shabazian. So I if the Jacare Souza fight didn't happen, I think I'd be leaning Brunson. We also have seen Kevin Holland. There's been moments where he hasn't looked great. The end of the Darren Stewart fight, he didn't look that great. There's been moments where you kind of scratch your head and you're like, I don't know. He had the one win. I forget exactly who it was against. It was a guy that's probably not even in the UFC anymore. He took it on short notice and beat him by Ontiveros, the guy that he dropped on his neck and got him to submit. The Darren Stewart win, it was good up until the end. He didn't look very good in the end. The Buckley, I mean, how good is Joaquin Buckley? Like he had the big knockout, but how good is he? Fluffy Hernandez, he had a huge win. He beat him. So he's beaten DiChirico. He's beaten Mearshart. Lost to Brennan Allen. So I don't know. I'm going Kevin Holland here. I'm actually going to go finish. Derek Brunson has tended to be chinny in the past. So I'll go Brunson by KO, or sorry, Holland by KO. But Brunson is on a 3-fight winning streak. He beat Theodora, Ian Heinisch, and Shabazian. So not really slouches, especially Ian Heinisch. Ian Heinisch is not bad. His last loss was to Izzy, so not a bad person to lose to. And he lost to Jacare Souza too. But yeah, look at his losses: Adesanya, Jacare Souza, Anderson Silva, Robert Whittaker, Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza again. I mean, the people that he's lost to are killers, like some of the best to grace the octagon. And so, I mean, it's tough to pick against Brunson in this one, and he's all motivated. Like, he's ready to take on all these up-and-comers and be a gatekeeper in ways. Like, he's like, I'll beat all of these guys to get my name back up top. But I'm all in on. I'm kind of been all in on Kevin Holland. Like, I think 2021 is the year that he really can become a star. 5 fights last year. He's only getting better, and I think that you can attribute some of his bad moments in fights to the fact that he was just taking fights and fighting on 2, 3, 4 weeks notice. Like, he was just fighting to fight. So with a full camp, I think Kevin Holland is the truth. I think he's a problem. So I'm going Kevin Holland by KO.
Yeah, this is a head scratcher for me. I've been going back and forth on this one. We know who Derek Brunson is. This is going to be his 18th UFC fight. Like, we know what he is. He's fought everyone, like all the best guys in the division, has some big notable wins, which is awesome. The Edmund fight, Edmund's like 22 years old. I don't know how much stock I'm putting into that one. I know he was kind of knocking everyone out. He had a ton of hype, and Brunson was the guy to derail the hype train. The Heinisch win's pretty good. We know where Brunson is. Do we know where Holland is? He's number 10 right now. He doesn't have like mega names on his record. Obviously, he's super well-rounded. He can go to the ground. He can strike. He has power. He seems to have pretty decent cardio. I think that could play a big factor here, being a 5-round fight. But the thing about Holland is it seems like, if anything, he struggles on the ground. He lost to Brandon Allen by submission. That's obviously a guy who goes to the ground a lot. Gerald Mearshart, when he beat him, he went split decision. He got taken down 6 times. I feel like if there's a path to victory for Brunson, it's going to be similar to the way that he did it to Shabazian, where it's going to be just kind of ragdolling him, getting up in his face, clinch work, getting it to the ground. And I know the only problem is Brunson can be like very reckless. He's pretty wild, and Holland can definitely take advantage of that, land a big shot, knock him out. He is a little bit chinny. So that's where I'm kind of struggling. Do I think Holland's going to land the big shot first, or do I think Brunson's going to kind of get this to the ground and make it a long night for Holland? I'm going to ride with Brunson in this one. it's very difficult for me to decide, but I am going to go Brunson, and I say he drags it out decision.
Yeah, I don't. The only thing that concerns me about Kevin Holland is his. It seems as if he doesn't really care about getting taken down to the ground. I mean, went up against Jacare, I was assuming that he would be scrambling for his life to not get taken down, and he just did in the first 30 seconds of the fight.
Right.
So that's the one thing that concerns me. My problem with Derek Brunson is I don't think he's going to go 25 minutes without getting touched. And once he gets touched, I think all is lost for Derek Brunson in a fight. You see it happen against Yoel Romero. Granted, it's fucking Yoel Romero, but against Izzy, it's just if he's scrambling and he realizes he can't do one thing, if he realizes he can't do anything in one facet of the game, it all comes crumbling down. He was having success against Edmund boxing, which was the most surprising thing to me. But I think once he mixed up his wrestling, it was a lot of issues. But with a guy like Kevin Holland, who's just gonna talk shit to you, slap you while you might be beating his ass, but he's still gonna be talking all sorts of nonsense to you. I think he's one of the most entertaining fighters in all of the UFC because of that. I just don't see Derek Brunson going 25 minutes without getting touched by him. So I got Holland via second round knockout. I think Derek Brunson is good, and I think anyone that can survive his onslaught of takedowns can survive anybody in the division. I think you see that whenever fighters are coming up. Whenever Whitaker went up against him and didn't get taken down, it was like, okay, his takedown defense is legit. And then he went and knocked out Jacare. Whenever Izzy didn't get taken down by him, he won the belt. Hasn't been taken down at 185 since, other than Yoel, for like 3 seconds. I think if Holland can get by him, because he seems to be improving every single time out as well, too. If he can get by him, I think he's one fight away from a title shot. It just depends on who that fight's against. I think if it's against Marvin Vettori, he's going to get humbled and then it's going to go down. If I think it's against someone that he can manage, like say Apollo Costa, say he loses that fight against Whitaker, then I think you can see him competing for a title. But it's all matchups, and I think the UFC should be smart about that. And I think this was one of those smart choices. So I'm going with Holland.
It's interesting you say if he can't go the full 25. If he fights like he did against Edmund, which was a lot more patient for the start, but you'd never seen Derek fight so smart, have you? Because of the danger that Edmund possessed in his hands, which was, as you said, so shocking that he outboxed him. But Kevin talks the shit, and he gets under your skin.
Exactly.
And he's got cardio for days. He's got more dynamic striking. He doesn't care where the fight goes. The size difference is non-existent in this one. I think they're pretty evenly matched. I think Kevin's got a similar build to Izzy, and I think as you said, he's improved every single time, and Kevin improves by fighting, not by training. Almost, he likes the minutes in there. He doesn't mind getting smacked about. I can see the hype carrying on for Kevin right now. I can see it cruising through. I don't see a decision either, but I do see Derek gassing. If he gets hit, if he gets not necessarily dropped, but just tippy-tapped with the jabs, with the low kicks. Kevin's liking the spinning stuff. Anything just to throw Derek off his game a little bit, he'll lose his mind. He always does. He goes down the pan. So I'm going to say fourth or fifth, late round, just a stoppage. Just TKO for Kevin there. Yeah.
You can see it when sorry, Josh, you can see it in like Brunson's eyes when he gets hit. It looks so much different than other fighters. Like he's holy shit, I'm actually in an octagon getting hit. Like
was it the Izzy fight when he was like getting hit and he just like kept stumbling forward and getting hit again and again?
He did it against Whitaker too. Just kept running at him. He'd get hit. Oh shit. He's
battle. It's so hard to go 5-0 in a year, and then you're asking him to start off 2021 basically 6 fights in a row as quick as you could possibly do it. It almost seems impossible, and to have 3 of you guys, and you guys kind of broke it down super well. All the things that are going into this fight, and only one of you, since Steve is picking Derek Brunson. I feel like that's a little shocking. I would be mad at myself if I picked Brunson, because do I really want that? I think to myself, do I really want that for the middleweight division? I don't really want Derek Brunson to put himself back up there with the top guys, because we've seen him already, and this is a kind of a new, fresh Kevin Holland. Great personality, great marketability. They call him Big Mouth, and he eats right into everything. So for the storyline of being 6-0, it's basically been one full year. I mean, this guy has never stopped fighting. This is the longest camp he's taken in, how long? Maybe since Thiago Santos, he's had this long of a layoff. So when it boils down to it, Kevin Holland, I think, does have the finishing power. He's very, durable. He can take a shot. Derek Brunson doesn't show a lot of power all the time. He did in the Shabazian fight for sure. He was cutting him up and really damaging him. But in this fight, I think Kevin Holland squeaks out a decision. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be competitive. I don't know what Derek Brunson we're going to see. And Kevin Holland during a layoff or off a layoff, that's kind of scary to me at least. So, but going 5-0 in a year is hard. And then starting off the next year 1-0 again, doing it all over again just seems like such a mental task. But Kevin Holland might be up for it. So give me Kevin Holland by decision.
What's the age difference between the two? Because
we got young, 28 years old for Holland, and then Brunson's 37.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not a young fish, is he?
I wouldn't say so.
That could play a part as well. He must be nearing the end. Because these middleweight, you got Vettori, as you say, you got Till. They're all mid-20s. They're all prime right now. You've got Robert looking amazing. Paolo's still there with his wine. You've got plenty of people. So 37 is not prime in this division.
Well, Brunson's like one of those guys who was very up and down, and then all of a sudden now he's sitting on that 3-fight win streak, like an older fighter, like a Glover Teixeira or a Jan Blachowicz. Like they have turned a corner, and now they're like borderline contender. Yeah, is this the wall? Is this the wall?
If it's not, it's going to make that middleweight division, as Josh just said, really fucking boring.
Also, I mean, to go back to my point about beating Derek Brunson, these are his losses. Kendall Grove back in 2012, right?
The spider.
Blast from the past.
Check this out. Jacare, Yoel, Robert Whitaker, Anderson Silva, Jacare again, and then Israel Adesanya. Those are his losses.
The elite of the elite.
The elite of the elite. Outside of Kendall Grove. But the elite of the elite. I mean,
but then who's the best he's beat? Who's the best he's beat? Flip it.
The best he's beat Machida. Well, older Machida, but he beat
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, he beat Lorenz Larkin, Chris Lieben. He beat Ian Heinisch. Then he stopped Edmund Shabazian, beat Elias Theodoro, who's good God, so bad.
He's a ring boy, isn't he?
Yeah. Really, I don't think I've ever seen anyone so slow. Elias Theodoro fights like he's.
But that's the point. Who's he beaten compared to who's Kevin's just beaten?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Kevin just beat a person that he lost to twice, and I was just going to say that. Yeah, I think Kevin Holland is on his way to that top tier. I don't think he's championship material yet. I'll be honest. I think a fight with him and Izzy would be hilarious because to have someone in there just talking shit to Israel Adesanya would just be so funny, But I think Kevin Holland's on his way up there, and I think this might be the start of Derek Brunson's decline, where he actually gets beat by an up-and-coming prospect. Because right now he's just in that gatekeeper role where he's like, oh, any up-and-coming prospect is going to go up against them, Yeah, so we'll see.
Holland, now known as the Netherlands, where my ancestors came from, known for their windmills. I think Kevin's going to come out. He's going to harness the power of those windmills, and he's going to blow the Brunson Burners pilot light out. So I'm going Holland knockout.
I'm the only Brunson guy. I thought we were going to be very mixed on this, to be honest.
It's close. It is close.
I don't think this fight's going to be as close as what. I think I could see
Brunson
Kevin Holland
can make
coming
this
out and
dirty though. He can make it dirty.
If Brunson utilizes his wrestling and is able to actually control Kevin Holland on the ground, then I think you see a close competitive fight, or you see Brunson get stretched in the first minute in the first round of the fight.
I was just going to say I kind of feel like Brunson's going to lose in the first round.
I think Brunson's going to lose rather handedly, especially since Kevin Holland's been in his DMs just talking shit to him, messaging his girl. I love that shit so much. I can't express that enough. When he's on the ground with Jacare Souza on top of him, he's like, I had a dream about this, and then 30 seconds later, he's pummeling his face into the side of the cage. Love it. We need more of that.
What did Holland say? He said on an IG story, he said, if your boyfriend's in Bellator, leave him. Brunson's on his way to Bellator.
God damn it.
Oh goodness, could that be another guy we see go to Bellator that's just done? Like Brunson,
Off a 3-fight win streak, but
I don't
he
think
definitely
he's
gets
done.
paid.
I don't think he's done. He's
I
definitely.
didn't think
top 10
Overeem was done
gatekeeper.
either, though.
Mhm.
No, I don't either.
I mean,
He was one more.
To be honest, with the Overeem and JDS thing, I wasn't too upset about them leaving. Just
Me
because I
neither.
was tired of seeing like fight nights headlined by them against some random UFC heavyweight.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Whenever I see these fight nights, I want divisional implications to be at hand.
Like
you know?
Overeem Sakai, you were like,
Come on, man.
like,
I mean-
like we all didn't we all know that Overeem was gonna like beat these guys, but then when he actually fought like someone that he like has a shot to win the title, that he was gonna lose. Like we all
Exactly.
knew that once he fought the guys in the top 5, top 6.
Once he
of that
fought
division, he
someone,
wasn't
a
gonna-
serious up and coming contender or a
Yes.
serious contender, he's going to get stretched. And it is just, I don't know. Same with JDS. JDS went on a skid, and then everyone was upset about it. But at the same time, like he's facing guys that are legitimately on the way to the title. You know,
Yeah.
I think Cyril Gane is going to be the next champion. I think Cyril Gane has potential. I'll say that much. I don't want to go too deep into it because I love the large beige man. But but yeah. I don't know. I wasn't too upset about it, but with fight nights like this with Brunson and Holland, I like it because I want the headliner of a card to be 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot, if not it being the number 1 contender fight. You know,
If not someone that sells and has controversy or trash talks or something.
exactly. Yeah. I want someone that's entertaining, and having these 40-year-olds fight each other every single time. And it's just like, come on, man. And now also you needed that division to move on. The heavyweight's getting old, and the old guard, Stipe's probably got 2 more fights left. And then you're going to have this young guard come in, and they're going to take over, and those guys are going to be the champions.
Chris Dawkins.
Dawkins and
hopefully,
Aspinall.
there you go. Yeah.
Aspinall, thank you. Yes.
Gone. I'm telling you, that large caramel man is going to destroy everybody. He's the man to beat John Jones. I've said
young Frank Mir's going to come in and
young Frank Mir.
Tom Aspinall, man. Yeah.
Oh, Tom Aspinall, he's talented.
Anything else for the good of the cause, everyone?
A little snack for 260. A little snack for 260. You know, get your stomach a little something.
I also just want to say I went 0 for 7 in my picks last week, but I had Leon and Eric Anders, so just defending myself a little bit there.
You went 0 for 7, yeah.
I threw actually
Thanks,
in the last second I threw a last second bet in on who was the fight before I got
Ryan Spann.
Yes, I threw money on us. I parlayed Spann and Leon Edwards by finish, which was like plus 1,300. It was like plus 1,300. But DraftKings, they actually, if you win the bet, they actually they just took away the money, and they gave me money for the win by Spann. So I actually still made out. But I would have won a ton of money. That was plus 1,300. That was ridiculous because literally Misha Serkinov is the same person as Alexei Oleinik, a human punching bag. If you can't get it to the ground, he's just going to beat the shit out of him. That's it. So, I was all in on that. But anyway, guys, great show. That's going to do it. Everyone, go check out Sheath Underwear, sheathunderwear.com. Use promo code Coffee and KOs. Get 20% off your entire purchase. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Coffee and KOs 1. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is greatly appreciated, as well as going on to Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment, all that great stuff. And we will see you next time.